Sometimes, I am just so sad when I think about this issue that I want to bring to you. Why is it that there's so much poverty in Africa? I don't understand why. And is there something wrong with the black skin? This black skin. This is this is it somebody said that the Africans are cursed, but I don't think so. I don't think it's a curse because I don't believe in curses. I just believe that, there is cause and effect, 'Cause I just get so disillusioned. Let me explain what I mean. Why is the poverty in Africa is so outstanding? Do you realize that millions, thousands of our young Africans die every day on the sea just to cross over to Europe from Libya? They entered small dingy boats, and as they go, they submerge. They would rather die. They would rather die than live in Africa. Do you know how painful that is when I think about it? That African leaders have refused to develop Africa. They have refused. And young Africans are struggling, dying every day just to get a better life. That's not even my another issue. But my issue is, why is it like that? And I thought, okay, maybe it's because of Africa. But again, you look at Africans were moved and kept in the Caribbean. Still, they are very poor in the Caribbean. Look at Jamaica. Look at all the Caribbean countries. Look at Haiti. Okay, you carry Africans and you put them in the United States. Look at Africans in all the black neighborhoods in poverty. Why? Why is there so much poverty in Africa? And at the same time, there's a lot of wealth. Look at Congo. There's so much wealth in the land. Africa has one of the highest mineral resources in the world. Mineral deposit of minerals and at the highest quantity of oil, of lithium, of zinc, of magnesium, of cobalt in Africa. Yet the continent is the poorest continent in the world. There's so much poverty in Africa. What is wrong with Africa? Is there something wrong with the black skin? Is it that the black skin makes you unable to think? Because I have a black skin and I can think. I don't think that is a problem. And a lot of people who have the black skin, there are a lot of black geniuses, but Africa, it seems everywhere you put a lot of black people together, poverty just comes upon them. I don't why. Look at the most populous nation, Nigeria, the most biggest country in Africa, the most populous. If you count every 10 black person, about 2 is a Nigerian. 2.5, if you even. Oh yeah, that country. Look at Somalia. Look at Africa. Africa has Africa has land. Yet Africa imports wheat from Ukraine that is fighting war. Africa is waiting for Ukraine to supply them with wheat. Africa has Niger State, for example, Niger State is one of the biggest. Do you realize that California in the United States, the GDP of California is bigger than the GDP of the whole of Africa? What does California have? California is an arid desert. It is the entertainment industry alone. See, I don't know what is wrong with Africa. Let's look at South Africa, for example. In South Africa, you have, the whites who have already left. The main infrastructure you see in South Africa today, in places like Cape Town, Durban, Bloemfontein, and all those places, are infrastructures that were built by the whites. Since they left, nothing much has happened. Poverty and crime in South Africa has increased. It seems as a black man, okay, since they took over, what have they done for their people? Instead, the corruption, stealing, has continued in South Africa. Look at the former South African president, Jacob Zuma. He came into power, took $200 million. How can you take $200 million to go and build a palace for yourself and your many wives? Is that what governance is all about? Guess what? Because of the pressure from the white minority, he was sentenced to jail. He got to jail. When he got to jail, the prison authorities, who are black, members of the ANC, obviously, they found a loophole in the law I think the loophole that says that when the prison is congested, the warden of the prison or the authority can decide to release some prisoners to decongest the prison. They have the right to do that according to their law, I think. I'm not too sure. But that's what that kind of loophole. And they released him back into the society. Somebody who stole over 200 million, that's to build a house. No, the other monies he stole is not even accounted for. What is wrong with Africans? What is wrong with the black man? That South Africa is still standing is because of the small white minority who have refused to leave and who are fighting to ensure that the investments that their forefathers left, however they got it, is a different question, is maintained. They are a minority, but they are pushing, they are fighting. If you look at all, the South African police has completely collapsed. In South Africa, police versus population is very... I'm using South Africa because South Africa is like the beacon of hope in Black Africa. Okay, so Nigeria is a total write-off. So, but the black people are destroying that South Africa. Is something wrong with the black man? Is there a problem? Is there something wrong with the black man? Okay, even the security system now, they are realizing, the white South Africans are realizing right now the crime rate in South Africa is about 42 deaths per day, and you have rape, criminals, crimes. The police force cannot sufficiently. Of course, they are taking bribes. Let's not even go there. But what the white South Africans, they came up with private security outfits all over South Africa now. If your car is stolen, private security outfits headed by white South Africans to protect their properties. What is wrong with the black people? If you say, okay, look at North Africa, where you have a slightly light-skinned people. You have Tunisia, you have Egypt, you have Morocco. Look at their economy. Look at their system. They have roads, good ports, electricity. It seems the darker the skin, it seems like the darker the skin, the more problem there is. Why? What is wrong? You see, we need to ask these questions because we cannot just keep shouting racism or racism. The reason you cannot be racist against the Japanese. If you're racist against the Japanese, then you're obviously ignorant because they have everything that you have in your economy. You can be racist if you're racist against the Chinese. Well, it's still some bit of ignorance because the Chinese are, in the next 4 years, the Chinese will be leaders in artificial intelligence. They'll be leaders in quantum technology. They'll be leaders in almost all the major sectors. The biggest is it telescope or dish? The biggest telescope, let's call it telescope. I'm not sure what it is. I think it's a dish in the world is in China. If aliens were to land, let's say if there's a communication with aliens, let's say from another extraterrestrial being contacted Earth, the first place people they will contact is the Chinese. Why? Because the Chinese has the highest communication dish in the world, the biggest. The diameter is about a mile. Listen, I can go on and on about China and Xi Jinping, the guy who is doing all this for China. What is wrong with Africa? We need to ask ourselves this question. That something is obvious, something is wrong. I don't know. Is it in the DNA? Is it in the mindset? Look at African leaders. They become leaders for 30 years. They cannot do anything for their country. Look at Nigerians. All the leaders in Nigeria, from Olusegun Obasanjo, Babangida, they should all be in jail if they were rulers in Europe. But they are walking free, dancing and acting like role models. When will Africa develop?
Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, and share.